Eva, whose full name is Evangeline St. Clare, is a key figure in Uncle Tom's Cabin, written by Harriet Beecher Stowe and published in 1852. The novel is a landmark anti-slavery work that highlights the moral and human costs of slavery. Eva is a gentle, compassionate young girl whose deep Christian faith and unconditional love for others make her one of the novel's most morally influential characters. Despite her fragile health and short life, she profoundly affects those around her, especially Uncle Tom, embodying purity, empathy, and spiritual idealism. One character story. Eva St. Clare is introduced as the daughter of Augustine St. Clare, a wealthy Southern slaveholder, and Marie St. Clare. From her first appearance, Eva is portrayed as unusually kind-hearted and perceptive, possessing a natural empathy that transcends the racial and social boundaries of her time. She first encounters Uncle Tom during a journey on a steamboat, where she immediately recognizes his goodness and forms a strong emotional bond with him. After an accident in which Eva falls into the river and Tom rescues her, her father purchases Tom, bringing him into their household. This moment marks the beginning of a deeply spiritual relationship between Eva and Tom. Unlike most white characters in the novel, Eva treats enslaved individuals with genuine love and respect. She sees them as equals in the eyes of God and consistently expresses sorrow over their suffering. Her compassion extends not only to Tom but also to other enslaved people in the household, whom she comforts, listens to, and encourages. As Eva grows increasingly ill, her role becomes more spiritually significant. Her declining health is portrayed with a sense of inevitability, and she gradually prepares herself and others for her death. Rather than fearing it, Eva approaches death with calm acceptance, viewing it as a transition to a better, eternal life. In her final days, Eva gathers the enslaved people and her family to deliver a message of love, forgiveness, and Christian faith. She gives each enslaved person a lock of her hair as a token of remembrance and urges them to live with kindness and trust in God. Her words deeply affect those present, inspiring reflection and emotional transformation. Eva's death is one of the most emotional moments in the novel. It profoundly impacts her father, Augustine St. Clare, who begins to reconsider his passive acceptance of slavery, though he ultimately fails to act decisively. Her passing also strengthens Uncle Tom's faith, reinforcing his commitment to Christian principles even in the face of suffering. Thus, Eva's story is not defined by action in the traditional sense, but by emotional and spiritual influence. Her life, though brief, serves as a catalyst for moral awareness and change in others, leaving a lasting imprint on the narrative. Role in the narrative. Eva serves as a moral and spiritual center in the narrative, representing an ideal of Christian love that contrasts sharply with the cruelty and indifference of the society around her. Her presence introduces a vision of what human relationships could be if guided by compassion and faith rather than power and prejudice. Functionally, Eva acts as a catalyst for change. Her influence on Uncle Tom reinforces his faith and resilience, while her impact on her father highlights the moral contradictions within slaveholding society. Through Eva, the narrative demonstrates that awareness of injustice is not enough. Action is required, a lesson underscored by St. Clare's failure to follow through on his intentions. Eva also plays a structural role by providing a moment of emotional and moral clarity in the middle of the novel. Her storyline offers a temporary vision of harmony and kindness, which makes the later descent into the brutality of Simon Legree's plantation even more striking. Additionally, Eva functions as a contrast to other characters, particularly her mother, Marie, whose selfishness and lack of empathy emphasize Eva's exceptional nature. This contrast strengthens the novel's moral framework by clearly distinguishing between virtue and moral failure. Symbolic significance. Eva symbolizes pure, selfless love and Christian grace. She represents an idealized vision of innocence untouched by the corruption of slavery. Her compassion for enslaved people reflects a moral truth that transcends societal norms, the fundamental equality and dignity of all human beings. Her physical fragility and early death further enhance her symbolic role. Eva can be seen as a Christ-like figure whose suffering and death carry spiritual meaning. Her final words and actions resemble a form of moral teaching, encouraging others to embrace love, forgiveness, and faith. At the same time, Eva symbolizes the possibility of moral redemption. Through her influence, she awakens a sense of conscience in others, suggesting that even in a deeply flawed society, individuals have the capacity to recognize and reject injustice. Harriet Beecher Stowe likely created Eva to appeal to the emotions of her readers, particularly by embodying innocence and moral clarity in a child. By presenting such a pure and sympathetic character, Stowe encourages readers to confront the cruelty of slavery on a deeply personal level. Eva's character makes the moral message of the novel more accessible and emotionally compelling. Eva has often been regarded as one of the most memorable and emotionally powerful characters in the novel. Many readers admire her compassion and moral strength, viewing her as a symbol of hope and goodness. However, some modern critics argue that her portrayal is overly idealized and sentimental, suggesting that her perfection makes her less realistic. Despite these critiques, Eva remains an effective literary figure. Her emotional impact and symbolic significance continue to resonate, making her a central part of the novel's enduring legacy. For conclusion, Eva St. Clare is a compassionate and spiritually profound child whose kindness and faith define her role in Uncle Tom's Cabin. As a character, she embodies unconditional love and moral clarity, influencing those around her in ways that extend far beyond her short life. Symbolically, Eva represents pure Christian virtue and the ideal of human equality. Her life and death highlight the possibility of moral awakening, even within a deeply unjust system. From a reader's perspective, Eva is both inspiring and emotionally moving. While some may view her as overly idealized, she remains a powerful symbol of innocence and compassion. Through her character, the novel conveys its most hopeful message, that love and faith can challenge injustice and inspire change.